Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back at today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I'm going over the Week 12 running back start or sit decisions. I go through all the way from the Thursday night football game all the way until the Monday night football game. Tell you whether you should start or sit the running backs in those games. Now, before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy football. Now, my favorite game on this website is the progressive game, where every single week, if the bonus does not get hit, the money keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling on until you eventually and someone hits that beautiful 12-0 to get that progressive bonus. As you can see here in the $22 game, which is the best game to play this week, if you go 12-0 and all those stars align, you can get over 8 grand winning in that game. Now, if you don't end up going that beautiful 12-0, don't you worry, because if you're in the top 10%, you get 9 times your buy-in at all levels. $2.5, you get $18. $22 entry, you get $180. And if you enter the $109 game and you hit that beautiful top 10%, you get 9 times your money at $900. Now, there's also another game with best record wins. You enter $11, the top 10% get $90, and that top prize, you get $100. So it's going to look beautiful on there right now. But obviously, that price is going to keep going up as more people join and enter. Pretty much, you're not even playing against anyone. You're pretty much just playing against yourself. You're playing against the board, and you got to make sure that you get just a good enough record to hit that money. Now, I'm going to explain how it necessarily works right here this week. Now I'm going to join the $22 game. Pretty much how it works, all you got to do is pick 12 of these players out of a huge selection of players, and plus 3 alternates. So you got to hit that beautiful 12-0 record to get that huge bonus, or obviously you can get 9-3 or 7-5. It's different every single week. That would make you hit that beautiful and get that 9 times your money. So one of the games here, and one of the strategies I like to do, is I like to go with Drew Brees over Russell Wilson here, and then I scroll down to the wide receivers, and I select Michael Thomas, because I'm going to be stacking my quarterback with my wide receiver. That is my favorite thing to do on this website. So make sure you guys check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Goodbye, my friends. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into this Week 12 running back start or sit decisions. The first game here is the Thursday night football matchup in between the Colts at the Houston Texans. I'm going to be starting up a few running backs in this matchup, but it gets a bit dicey here. Carlos Hyde has been putting up good numbers the last 3 games, so I would be confident starting him, but you're obviously not getting a guy that has the potential to boom for like 20 points. He's pretty much just going to be scoring you like 8, 9, or 10 PPR points, and if you're comfortable in doing that, go ahead and start him. He's much more of a flex option that is super safe, but he's not going to be in your flex because you don't put Thursday night players in your flex. You slot him in as your RB2. For the Colts, you're going to go with Jonathan Williams here if Jordan Wilkins is out. This is quite the dicey situation here. If Jordan Wilkins is out, I think that Jonathan Williams is going to get a lot of touches in this game and be worthy of a start. Obviously, tomorrow on Thursday, we will know more about it, and I will make a video about it, whether or not who is playing, who's getting the start, and who I believe I would start in fantasy football in this game. But as of right now, if Jordan Wilkins is out, I'm going with Jonathan Williams. But I also like Nyheim Hines. Now, Nyheim Hines is the pass-catching back on that team, so if you're in a PPR format, he should be able to be a monster, even with Jonathan Williams getting a majority of the touches. I like Nyheim Hines in this game, given Wilkins is out. Now, I am going to be sitting down Duke Johnson in this game. Duke Johnson, to me, is much more of a dice roll. Like I say, every single week, either he's going to be scoring you 3 points or 20. If you're willing to be a gambler, you're willing to roll the fucking dice, then go ahead and play him. But it is very hard to project how well Duke Johnson will play when it is so random on a weekly basis. Marlon Mack, you're obviously going to be sitting down because he is dead. He is hurt. He may be out for a while now. And then Jordan Wilkins, you're going to be sitting him down given he is out. If he plays, I'm not even sure you'd want to start him anyways. Next game here is the Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'm going to be starting up Nick Chubb, and in this game against the Miami Dolphins, Nick Chubb goes from a 1/3 Chubb last week against the Steelers to a full fucking Chubb, a Viagra version of Chubb, because Nick Chubb is going to be able to run through the Miami Dolphins. Nick Chubb is going to go hard in the motherfucking paint and ball out against the Dolphins. This should be a very easy matchup for Mr. Nicholas Chubb, who had not the worst game last week against the Steelers. He had 97 yards. He got so many touches. It's just that Kareem Kareem Hunt stole all of his pass catching opportunities. Now, Kareem Hunt is also start. To me, he's much more of a PPR back due to the fact that they're not really using him to run the ball. They gave Nick Chubb a majority of the rushes. They were dumping the ball off to Kareem Hunt a lot. So if you are in a PPR format, he's definitely a start. And even in a non-PPR format, he's going to be a start this week. But in you have to lower him in your rankings due to the fact that he obviously is such a pass-catching back. But against the Dolphins, he should still be able to perform. Now I'm going to be sitting down Kalen Ballage this week. Mark Walton obviously got cut by the team. It's just a Kalen Ballage show. And I believe that Kalen Ballage will get a lot of touches. He will get a lot of volume, but I would not be too confident starting him this week, even against a Myles Garrett-less Cleveland Browns. Next game here, we got the Lions at the Redskins. Now I'm going to be starting Bo Nose Scarborough. Caution, though. Caution on him. Obviously, the joke here is that he's not fucking Bo Jackson. That's why I put Nose there. And I know a lot of people are going to get pissed off. Oh, Nick, you think Bo Scarborough is as good as Bo Jackson, you fucking idiot. You weren't even alive when Bo Jackson was playing, you cocksucker. That's what people are going to be saying, but it's okay because Bo Scarborough is a start for me. The Redskins defense is fucking atrocious, but the one problem here with Bo Scarborough is that it is a committee. Bo Scarborough looks like the number one back, and then Ty Johnson, J.D. McKissick still going to get touches. So if one of them ends up in the end zone and not Bo Scarborough, you may be a bit fucking ticked off with him in your lineup. But I'm still going to start him. Just know that there is some caution to be had when you throw him in your lineup. And I'm also going to be starting Mr. Darius Geis. Darius Geis finally played a full game in the NFL without getting hurt. A huge round of applause for Darius fucking Geis, who didn't end up dying like he normally does during the game. Big ups to him. He scored that touchdown. He looked okay in the game. He only really was doing shit when they were down and out in garbage time, but it doesn't matter because you want to know what there's going to be in this game? Garbage time. Matt Stafford, Jeff Driscoll, who fucking cares? The Redskins are going to get their ass spanked up again, and Darius Geis is still going to look great, though. But I'm going to be sitting down Adrian Peterson with Darius Geis playing is just not a start for me. He scored like 5 PPR points last week, and he's not going to look too hot with Darius Geis getting the head honcho snaps and the head honcho touches on that team. Now, Ty Johnson, J.D. McKissick are going to have to take a seat down. I don't even know if Ty Johnson is going to play. J.D. McKissick, you got to sit him down regardless because it seems like it is Bo Scarborough's job in Detroit. Next game here, we got the Raiders at the New York Football Jets. Now, I like the Raiders in this game, and I also like the Jets in this game. I believe this is going to be a bit of a high-scoring matchup with potential for Sam Darnold to choke the game away. Now, I like to start both of these backs in this game. Josh Jacobs seems like a certified fucking monster. Derek Carr hands him the rock. John Gruden hands him the rock, and he knocks one time in the goddamn end zone. Jacobs loves scoring them touchdowns, and he loves getting the ball in his hands. Josh Jacobs is a great play this week against a Jets defense that does not seem to be all as great as a lot of people predicted before the season. Now, Le'Veon Bell, Adam Gase is an idiot. Sam Darnold is an idiot, but it doesn't fucking matter because as long as Sam Darnold can figure out how to get the ball in Le'Veon Bell's hands, Le'Veon Bell will perform. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell has been getting a lot of his work done in the pass catching game. So if you are in a PPR league, he obviously gets that boost, but it doesn't matter if you're in PPR standard because you're certainly going to throw Le'Veon Bell and Josh Jacobs in your lineup. Next game here, we got the Giants at the Chicago Bears, a game that could have two terrible quarterbacks in it, Daniel Jones and Chase Daniel, or Kissin' Titties Mitchell Trubisky, depending who it is. But I don't give a fuck who the quarterback is for the Bears because they shouldn't affect the running game too much. I am going to be starting up Tariq Cohen for the Bears. Now, last week, Tariq Cohen took the fact that David Montgomery's ankle was fucked up and just rode it into the fucking end zone and rode it to almost 20 PPR points. Tariq Cohen looked like a goddamn animal and the smallest animal in the fucking animal kingdom because he is like 5 feet tall, but it does not fucking matter because him and Kyler Murray are going to ball out this week. Let's go, Tariq Cohen. Now, the other Bears back is David Montgomery. Now, he was dealing with that injury last week. I think he should be a lot more healthy in this game. I'm surprised they didn't just sit him down. The Bears are going to look angry. Mitch Trubisky, if he plays, is going to look angry. Chase Daniel is going to be like, God damn, I finally got to start a game in the NFL again. And David Montgomery is going to get the ball handed to him, I believe, a decent amount against this terrible Giants defense. And I think that David Montgomery should be able to have a full-on Thanksgiving feast 1 week before Thanksgiving. Now, I also like Saquon Barkley in this game. Saquon Barkley is clearly hurt. He's clearly injured. There's something wrong with him, but with one leg, I'm still fucking playing him. Saquon Barkley is impossible to sit down, but you have to temper your expectations. He's playing up against a good Bears defense, and he's playing with likely a peg fucking leg, like his name is Peggy the Pirate. Next game here is Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. Now, I like Christian McCaffrey in this game. And you better believe it. You better know it. You fucking know it that Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL, the best running back in fantasy football, and maybe the MVP of the league if they don't give it to Mr. Lamar Jackson. Christian McCaffrey is a certified beast. Every time the ball touches those beautiful fingertips of his, there is a chance that he busts one off straight in the defense's mouth and scores that beautiful touchdown. Christian McCaffrey this week is going up against the New Orleans Saints, and it doesn't matter what defense he's fucking playing. The Saints defense is okay, but Christian McCaffrey is going to be amazing. It doesn't matter how bad Kyle Allen is. It doesn't matter if Kyle Allen shits the bed for your fantasy team, because Christian McCaffrey will always be there, and he will always be there to... I just said that twice, but he will always be there for the third time to love you and to keep you safe away from losing in fantasy football. The other back in this game, obviously on the Saints side of the ball, is Alvin Kamara, Mr. AK. Bang, bang, bang. That's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be shooting up the Carolina Panthers defense. Alvin Kamara is a fucking beast, and you better believe you're going to be starting him this week against the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm going to be sitting down Latavius Murray. I've seen some people try to get smart. They try to get sneaky. They try to start Latavius Murray, and if Alvin Kamara is not in a body bag, there is a 0% chance that I would ever fire up Latavius Murray after I have tried in the past, and he scores you like 3 points, and he shits the bed, and then you cry yourself to sleep because Latavius Murray fucked your fantasy lineup right in the no-no square. Next game here is the Seattle Seahawks at the Philadelphia Eagles, and if you guys have enjoyed the video thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. So I'm going to be starting up Chris Carson in this game. Chris Carson has been playing pretty well every single game he plays. He has been very consistent. He's a top 10 back on the year. It seems like the Seattle Seahawks love Chris Carson in the pass catching game and through the ground. I love I love Chris Carson in this game against the Philadelphia Eagles, even up against a tougher run defense. Now, I am going to be sitting down Miles Sanders in this game. It is honestly, Miles Sanders will be a start if Jordan Howard does not play. Jordan Howard did not practice today on Wednesday, so it is entirely possible that Jordan Howard may be dead and may not play against the Seattle Seahawks. So then you can play Miles Sanders, but to me, Miles Sanders is also still a dice roll, a bit of a gamble, because it seems like he's going to put you up 7 points or 30, and you never really know. Jay Ajayi is also a sit because I'm very confused with him. It seems like he was going to get a lot of touches in that game since Jordan Howard was hurt, and then he didn't even touch the ball at all and put up a fat goose egg in your lineup. Next game here is the Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm sitting down all the backs in this game. Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber, it's a fucking gamble which one of those motherfuckers are going to be starting every single week. Bruce Arians, Ronald Jones is going to be the number one back on the team. Then you see what happens, Peyton Barber scores. And then the next week, Ronald Jones will score. And then in the next game, who's not even up here, Dare Agabaladuge will score the fucking touchdown. So you're just going to be sitting all these guys in your game. And then Brian Hill. Brian Hill, you sorry motherfucker. You tweeted out that you don't care about your fantasy owners. You don't care that people put you in their lineup and you shit the bed. Obviously, it's not your fault that the ref called holding on that play where you should have scored a touchdown. That's not your fault. But the way that you talked bad to us, you are going to be sitting on my bench all year. But in reality, I don't really give a fuck what he says about fantasy football. What I care about is his production, and it seems like the Falcons have a lot of backs they're going to be using, and it seems like Brian Hill may not be the number one back on the team. So I would let him sit down, but if you are in a tough situation, you could do a lot worse than B. Hill. Next game here is the Broncos at the Buffalo Bills. This should be an amazing game. An Allen versus an Allen game. Brandon Allen versus Josh Allen. And you want to know who we're starting in these games? The two lead backs on the team, the two head honcho backs on these teams. Philip Lindsay, obviously the head back on the team. It seemed like Royce Freeman was going to steal his job, and that just didn't fucking happen. It was all Philip Lindsay, and it's been all Philip Lindsay this year, a lot of this year. So we're going to fire him up against the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, the Bills' defense is pretty good, so you got to temper your expectations a bit. But the Broncos looked to play phenomenal last week against the Minnesota Vikings early in the game. And if they're able to get an early scoring up on the Bills, then Philip Lindsay may be able to have a good game. Devin Singletary, on the other hand, is also a start. I know he's been disappointing the last couple of weeks in very easy matchups. This should be an easier matchup as well against the Denver Broncos. So you're going to have to start him up and hope that the matchup is juicy enough for you to warrant a start, and I believe it is. I'm going to be sitting down Royce Freeman because, like I said, it's really the Philip Lindsay show in Denver. Obviously, he may have a game where he blows up and you have him sitting on your bench if Philip Lindsay shits the bed. That's why I didn't draft Philip Lindsay, because it just seems like that could happen on every given week. But sit down Royce Freeman this week against the Buffalo Bills, and Frank Gore, the old man who needs his walker to get onto the field. He may be in the Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Hall of Fame of your fantasy lineup in 2019. Next game here, we got the Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that is going to be a snooze fest, a fucking certified terrible game. But even with terrible games, there's great fantasy players, and Joe Mixon is looking to put on another momentous game again. Joe Mixon has been absolutely eating the last 3 games in fantasy football, and I believe against the Steelers defense that is overrated. Joe Mixon is going to be able to go balls deep into that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I love Joe Mixon this week. Knock one time if you're with me. Now, James Conner, likely dead, likely in a body bag somewhere, because it seems like there's no way they would play him after he was banged up after coming back from an injury. Obviously, the Steelers are fucking stupid, so they may end up playing James Conner. But if they do, you're going to have to start him. But right now, I believe they won't, so you're going to sit him down. Jalen Samuels, the backup on the team, you're going to fire him up. Obviously, he's a lot better in PPR formats because he gets so many targets. He had a game with 17 targets this year, which is just fucking crazy. Okay, but Jalen Samuels will still be able to get that work in standard, likely if he's the head honcho back and James Conner is dead in a ditch. Gio Bernard, on the other hand, you're going to be sitting him down. It seems like he's just a guy that's change of pace back for Joe Mixon. Earlier in the year, we were seeing a much more different Bengals team. The Bengals are looking to get out of the game, so they just hand the ball to Joe Mixon 30 fucking times so that they can lose and get on to next season, and that's going to obviously benefit Joe Mixon and hurt Mr. Gio Bernard, one of the greatest fantasy football players ever if you're playing in 2015. But now, no. It is 2019 this year. Next game here, we got the Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans, and I love both of these backs in this game. Leonard Fournette is a fucking certified beauty. He touches the ball so much, you would think something bad about him. The next game here is the Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans, and I like both of the backs in this game. Leonard Fournette has been tearing it up pretty much every single week because he has so much consistency. That consistency comes from touching the rock so many times in every single game. So Leonard Fournette is an obvious start here, even up against a tougher Tennessee Titans defense. Now, Derrick Henry, on the other hand, on the Tennessee Titans, has also been getting a lot of touches in these games. The backup backs on on both of these teams are not really getting too many touches, and Derrick Henry should be able to eat against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but you have to stay cautious to the fact that he never catches the goddamn ball. Next game, here's the Cowboys at the New England Patriots, and I love Ezekiel Elliott in this game. We saw last week Ezekiel Elliott find that touchdown, find that promised land off of a dump-off pass from Dak Prescott. Against the Patriots, even against a tougher defense, I love Ezekiel Elliott. You have to start him. You have to feel confident in him because you know the talent over there in Dallas. Now, James White, on the other hand, is also a start. James White is just the safest fantasy football player you've ever seen. You throw him in your lineup, he scores you 10, 11, or 12 fantasy points pretty much every week without fail. Against the Cowboys, they're going to be looking to dump the ball off a lot, and James White is going to look to eat in this game. Now, I'm going to be sitting down Sony Michel. I believed in him falsely last week. He shit the bed. With him, he's a very, very, very touchdown-dependent tight end. If he does not, or not tight end, running back, if he finds that end zone, you are happy. If he does not find that end zone, you're pissed off because he scored 3 points for you. So I'm going to sit him this week against the Dallas Cowboys. Next game here, the Sunday Night Football matchup between the Green Bay Cheesehead Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. Now I'm going to be starting up Aaron Jones in this game. Now, Aaron Jones has been pretty great thus far this season. Jamal Williams is getting a lot of touches in these games because Mr. Matt LaFleur loves the two-back system, and he likes giving the ball to both of them. But I know, even against the tough 49ers defense, that Aaron Jones should be able to eat through the passing game and through the running game and play good enough to warrant a start this week on Sunday Night Football in the San Francisco 49ers Stadium. The Levi Stadium, as they like to call it. I am going to be sitting down Matt Breida in this game. The Green Bay Packers defense is pretty good, and the problem with both of these backs right now is the fact that George Kittle may not play again. When George Kittle is out there, he is a good and a great, actually, blocking tight end. He makes it so much easier for them to run the ball on offense, and obviously, if Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman are dealing with Dwelly as the fucking tight end, he's not as good as blocking, and it seems like the run game gets completely shut down. If George Kittle plays, you can start Tevin Coleman. I'm not sure about Matt Breida due to the fact that he's been so banged up. Tevin Coleman, like I said, is a sit, but in a lot of situations, you're going to start him. I can see him being a top 15 back, but I can also see him completely shitting the bed. It is much more of a dice roll, but if George Kittle plays, it's a lot less of a dice roll, and I do like Tevin Coleman. I'm going to be sitting down Jamal Williams. Obviously, he's the number 2 back on the Packers. He's showed games where he's absolutely flourished and played well, but the last couple of games, he's kind of been disappointing, so I just let him ride the pine against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, on to the final game, the Monday Night Football matchup between the Baltimore Ravens at the LA Rams. Now, the Rams absolutely last week skull-fucked the Bears, but not really because they looked terrible even against Mitch Trubisky. The Ravens gave an ass whooping last week out to the Cincinnati Bengals, and this week I believe the Ravens may end up whooping some ass again in LA. In this game, I like Mark Ingram. Obviously, last week he scored that touchdown, and he has been kind of pretty shit when he doesn't score that touchdown. But this week against the Rams, obviously, they have one good player, and his name is Jalen Ramsey. But you want to know who Jalen Ramsey is not going to be covering? The fucking running back. And I think that Mark Ingram is going to be able to get loose in this game against the LA Rams, and he will warrant a start. Now, Todd Gurley obviously did not play all that well last week. It seems like every game, if he does not score that touchdown, he is going to be a disappointment. But I think this week against the Ravens, Todd Gurley will be able to play pretty well as long as they keep feeding him the rock. And I did kind of lie a bit because Todd Gurley did play pretty good last week. You know, my brain fucking failed me for a second. He played pretty good, but he's been pretty on and off this year. If he finds the end zone this week, you're going to love to start him, but I'm still starting him fucking regardless because he is such a talented back. And when Sean McVay gives him the opportunity to play, you are going to give him the opportunity to start in your fantasy football lineup. Now, I'm going to be sitting down Gus Bus. Gus Bus went absolutely ham-boney against the Cincinnati Bengals last week, but he's not playing the Cincinnati Bengals. He's playing a defense that may actually be able to stop the run somewhat. I mean, Mark Ingram should still be able to ball out, but Gus Bus, they're not going to be up by 1,000,000 points, so Gus Edwards is not going to be getting a lot of touches. You're obviously going to be sitting down Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson, the backups to Todd Gurley. Unless Todd Gurley's hurt, then you have no shot of starting either of those guys. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. You know I love each and every single one of you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. I love you all. Like I said, goodbye, my friends.